Imagine discovering that one of the cheapest vitamins in the world might help your cells age more slowly. Not a futuristic anti-aging drug, not an experimental gene therapy, just vitamin D. For years, scientists have debated whether vitamin D does much more than support healthy bones. Millions of people take it every day, yet research has often produced mixed results. Some studies suggested broad health benefits, others found little effect. Now, a major clinical trial has added an unexpected piece to the puzzle. Researchers found that people taking vitamin D3 every day experienced significantly less telomere shortening over 4 years compared with people taking a placebo. The difference was equivalent to preserving nearly 3 years of biological aging. That sounds extraordinary, but before you rush to buy a bottle, there is a lot more to this story. First, we need to understand what scientists actually measured. Most people think aging is simply the number of birthdays you've had. Scientists see aging differently. Inside every cell are chromosomes that contain your DNA. At the ends of those chromosomes are protective structures called telomeres. You can think of them like the plastic tips on a shoelace. Without those tips, the lace begins to fray. Without healthy telomeres, chromosomes become less stable. Every time many cells divide, telomeres become a little shorter. Over decades, this shortening is associated with aging and an increased risk of many age-related diseases. That does not mean short telomeres directly cause every disease. Human biology is much more complicated than that. But telomere length has become one of the best-known biological markers researchers use when studying aging. The question is simple: can we slow that process? To find out, scientists turned to one of the strongest research designs available. The study was part of the VITAL trial, a large randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial. Those words matter. Randomized means participants were assigned by chance. Double-blind means neither the participants nor the researchers knew who received the real supplement. Placebo-controlled means the results were compared against people taking inactive pills. This type of study is considered one of the highest standards in medical research. Researchers followed more than 1,000 adults for 4 years. Some participants received vitamin D3 every day. Others received omega-3 fatty acids. Some received both. Others received neither. Throughout the study, scientists collected blood samples and measured changes in telomere length. The results surprised many researchers. Compared with the placebo group, people taking vitamin D3 showed significantly less telomere shortening. The effect was roughly equivalent to preserving almost 3 years of biological aging. Interestingly, omega-3 supplements alone did not produce the same effect in this analysis. That immediately raised an exciting possibility. Could vitamin D actually slow biological aging? The answer is both yes and no. Yes, because this study provides evidence that vitamin D influenced one important marker associated with aging. No, because biological aging is much bigger than one measurement. Aging involves DNA damage, inflammation, protein quality, immune function, mitochondria, stem cells, metabolism, and many other interconnected systems. One healthier marker does not automatically mean people will live longer. Scientists are always careful to separate biomarkers from real-world outcomes. A slower aging marker is promising, but what we ultimately care about is whether people stay healthier, avoid disease, and live longer. That takes many years to prove. Another important question is why vitamin D might have this effect. Researchers still do not know for certain. Vitamin D plays a role in regulating immune function. It helps control inflammation. It influences how cells grow and repair themselves. It also affects hundreds of genes throughout the body. Since chronic inflammation is considered one of the major drivers of aging, reducing excessive inflammation could help protect cells over time. That is one possible explanation, but it remains a scientific hypothesis rather than a confirmed mechanism. The findings also highlight something people often misunderstand about supplements. Many advertisements promise dramatic anti-aging effects after just weeks of taking a pill. Real science rarely works that way. This trial lasted 4 years. The changes researchers detected were gradual. They required careful laboratory analysis. No participant suddenly looked 20 years younger. There was no miracle transformation. Instead, scientists observed subtle changes occurring inside cells over a long period. That is how aging research usually works. Slow changes, small effects, reliable measurements. It is also important to remember that vitamin D is not risk-free. More is not always better. Extremely high doses can cause serious health problems, including elevated calcium levels and kidney damage. People with certain medical conditions may require different treatment. The safest approach is to discuss supplementation with a healthcare professional, and when appropriate, measure vitamin D levels rather than guessing. Perhaps the biggest lesson from this study has nothing to do with vitamin D itself. It reminds us that aging is not necessarily fixed. Scientists increasingly believe biological aging is dynamic. Lifestyle, nutrition, sleep, exercise, and environmental factors appear to influence how quickly our bodies age. Instead of accepting aging as an unstoppable countdown, researchers are beginning to ask a different question. How much of biological aging can we actually change? Vitamin D is unlikely to be the complete answer, but studies like this suggest that ordinary interventions may have measurable effects on the biology of aging. That possibility is changing how scientists think about preventive medicine. The future of healthcare may focus less on treating disease after it appears and more on slowing the biological processes that make disease more likely in the first place. So, can vitamin D slow aging? Based on this clinical trial, it may help preserve one important marker of cellular aging. That is encouraging. It is scientifically meaningful, but it is not proof of longer life. The real message is even more exciting. For the first time, researchers are gathering strong evidence that biological aging itself may be something we can measure, understand, and eventually influence. And if that is true, the future of medicine may not simply be about living longer. It may be about staying healthier for more of the years we already have.